Okay, this video is 2019, it's question 1, and we're going to look at the depreciation. Slightly different. I think this is really, really important, especially for 2020, because it brought in scrap value, which they haven't been using. And before we start, I just want to go through this, something about scrap value. If you're calculating depreciation with a scrap value, it's your cost. You have to take away the scrap value before you can calculate the depreciation. And then you calculate whatever the rate of depreciation is, or you divide it by the number of years, whichever way they give it to you. So either way, it's cost minus scrap value. Then you divide it by the number of years you're going to have the asset, or you multiply it by the percentage. And this question that we're going to be doing, it says that assets will last you 5 years. So you're going to divide by 5, or that's the same as 20%. Okay, so if we look at this, we're going to go through the very same steps that we always do. So step 1, always change the delivery van cost. The original cost is 155,000. That figure came from your balance sheet. You add on the cost. Now, remember we're doing cost, so everything that you put in here has to be cost. So you add on the cost of the new van and take away the cost of the old van. So your new cost for your balance sheet is 170,000. Straight away put that in. Okay, step 2. They don't have to be in this order of steps. You can be in whatever order you want. You're going to change your accumulated depreciation. So your accumulated depreciation at the start was 35,000. You want to add on the charge for this year and take away the disposal. You need steps 3 and 4 to be able to do this. So at the moment, that's the only figure that I can fill in. This came from step 3 and this came from step 4. So let's look at step 3. You need to get the depreciation charge for the year. So we're going to be using one of these. So in this question it says divide by years, so we're going to be using this one here. So the old one, it says you don't depreciate in the year you dispose, so that makes that very easy, it's 0. The new van, you can only depreciate after you've removed 5%. So you can only, if I remove 5% from that, I'm left with 38,000. You're sharing it equally over 5 years, so every year you're going to depreciate 7,600. Now the remainder, some students find this difficult. At the start, my delivery vans, I had 155,000. I'm splitting that into the old one, which is 25, and the ones that remain, that I still have for the year, which is 130. Okay, so it's 130 minus the 5%, because that's the scrap value, divided by 5. Now, just to explain the scrap value, just say, go to this old van. You have 25,000 and they're saying to you, you will have that delivery van for 5 years, but at the end of 5 years, it will still be worth 5%. So if they're telling you it will always be worth 5%, you can't depreciate that, because depreciation is a loss in value of a fixed asset. But if there's a scrap value, you're not losing that, so you can't depreciate it. So sorry, this is 130,000 minus the 5%, divided by the 5 years. So the two of these together give you your profit and loss figure. Step 4, look at the depreciation of the old van. So in 2016 you bought it. So you had it in 2016, 2017, 2018 you sold it. Now why do I have that crossed out? Because it said in this question, in the year that you dispose, you don't depreciate. So we really only had this van for 2 years. So again, following this, it's the cost minus 5%, divided by 5 gives me 1 year. I want it for 2 years, so I multiply it by 2. Now step 4, if you look at the board, it doesn't have a red box around it. It's the only step that doesn't actually go directly into your accounts. Step 5, we're going to work out, do we make a profit or loss on our disposal? So the van cost us 25. We've written off 9,500. So we believe that if we were selling it today, we should get 15,500. You got 14,000 into trade-in. You wouldn't be happy with that, so you made a loss of 1,500. Step 6, you want to do fix the incorrect posting. You put it as purchases, but we know the definition of purchases are goods that we're going to resell. When you purchase a delivery van, it's a fixed asset, not purchases. So you need to get the amount of the cheque, so that's the cost minus the trade-in allowance. So 40,000 minus trade-in allowance of 14, sorry, the cheque was 26. So 26,000 needs to be removed from your purchases. Going back to step 2. We can fill this in now. The charge for the year came from here, 32,300, and the amount of the disposal is 9,500. Now I've put the marks for this particular question in. Why are so many marks given to this in, usually it's 14%, or not 14, 12%. They get 14% this year because the scrap value threw off a lot of students on how to do that. Watch that, expect it again on an exam.